Hello and welcome to A Voice of Generation X with Andrea Lambert. And today I'm going to turn it over to Alicia Pulver, who's going to interview me as a cat lady. So, there you go.
Hello. Today we're focusing in on not only the election, but we actually have a self-proclaimed cat lady, Andrea Lambert, that I would like to know a little bit more about. So, Vance and Trump and a lot of other Republicans and people of that sort have, specifically Vance has alluded to, if the world had women that were incapable of having children or decided not to, and also collected numerous cats, that it would be the possible apocalypse. Can you give me your insight on that?
Well, I have 5 cats, and I would say I collect cats, and I don't see any children anywhere. I never had any, never wanted any.
Oh,
Cats are so.
wait, can you explain why you got the conviction that you never wanted any? Was it because
I
you're
never
evil
wanted
or
any
you're the
from the
devil, or
beginning. The
is it just
very first time I got pregnant, which was only happened once. And I was finishing up college. I was in my last year. I was writing my thesis. I was very serious about my academic career and not so serious about the father of the child, although he was my boyfriend at the time. So I got an abortion. And I have never once regretted it. The life I
And you know
have,
what?
the life I've
That's
had
a
would
huge
not be
insight
possible
that you
without
mentioned
that.
right there, because a lot of people think now that we've lost Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, now
But
that we've
also,
lost that
like,
right, it's
I know that
horrific.
we just hopped into one subject because I still want to get back
Yes.
to what you were
I just
saying. We're,
segue,
we're, we're,
sorry.
we're going to shelf the Roe v. Wade and we're going to go
Yeah,
back
we'll shelve
to.
the abortion for now.
I
But
would like
so
to know
that was
a little bit more
basically
about
how I
what would
knew.
the world look like if it were
It was
filled
run by
with
cat
women
ladies.
that did not have children and happened
It
to
would be a
have
better place.
several cats.
It would be a lot quieter. There'd be a lot less noise. And there'd be huge boxes of cat litter showing up on people's doorsteps all the time. It would be like a government
Oh, I
subsidized.
thought you meant like dirty cat litter. I was like, that's disgusting.
No, no, I mean like clean cat litter. Like you have no idea how much cat litter it takes to maintain 5 cats. Like a lot. Like this is probably something I shouldn't be talking about on
Okay, so
here.
when you say cat litter, I think
Go
about.
on.
Sorry, this is
No, not the
a
dirty kind. The clean kind.
sidebar. So remember in Billy Madison when they would when they would say like dog poop and whatever. I was like,
Oh,
so that when you said that, I literally went, if the world
oh.
were filled with
Or
portraits
in
of.
giant things of cat food because you have to feed all these cats, and so
Yeah,
I
but
mean
the
I
thing
feed
is, the
mine from
cats
these
have never
giant
taken over
bags.
your life. They've never made you someone who
But
sits.
they never took over my life. I've never regretted having them. I mean, even last night when my dear, dear cat Fortuna, he's a male, and unfortunately he's unfixed. He crawled up on the duvet and just looked at me, and then he peed, and I was like,
So getting back to what
yeah,
Vance is.
Vance, yes. I mean, the thing is,
Well, some people
that's what
call
I
him
was doing
Vance,
all
some
night.
people
It was
call him Vance. It
laundry.
depends on however you pronounce things. I mean, we can
Yeah,
enunciate
Vance
things if we
Vance. I
want to.
feel like you would prefer Vance
Vance.
because he's got that hillbilly thing going, and I'm like, that's
I don't know if he really
you
has the
want to
hillbilly. It's
have it.
like John Oliver said, he's like on his way to being a Wolverine, and he just didn't quite make it. That's what I'm supposed to be the interviewer. Sorry, not the.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to not ramble. Sorry.
Okay, so going on with what I was asking you,
Yes.
how does it make you feel being a single female in this world
Hmm.
that happens to not have children and happens to not have a husband? Did you do this because you wanted to ruin the world, or it's just what happened by chance? Like that's just what happened
Well,
in life.
it was just chance, really. I mean, I have been
Okay, so
married.
by the
I've
way,
got
ladies and
children.
gentlemen, I just want you to, or I should say gentle sums, whichever you like to
Gentle
declare yourself
limbs.
as.
Yeah.
Gentle sums, whichever. Um, by the way, I'm not trying to be exclusive. So, by the way, we're trying to deduce the fact that if the world were filled with people like Andrea, or as she calls herself, Andrea, as
I
I always
prefer
call
Andrea.
her,
I've been leaning more towards Andrea
is
lately.
that the world would not be this sadistic, like, world of witchcraft and like people trying to kill each other. Like, it's not like that. Like, sometimes
Right. Or
people,
if there was witchcraft, it would be
like,
the
we're
nice
in
kind, where it's all about love
2024.
and
We're not in
harmony and
1994. To
right. It wouldn't
or
be about
19, or we should
destruction
say 1974. That would actually
or
be a little bit
shooting
more
or
on
hurting.
tune. Like the actual when the dissemination of the American family happened, which I'm
What was
not
that?
going
94?
19
Oh, wow.
the
1994 was the year I
dissemination of the
graduated from
American
high
family,
school.
it was initiated in 1981. That's what they say now.
81. Oh, okay.
Which is interesting, right? Because that's when they actually started having divorces, and
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
81. I
this was
was like
before they
elementary.
had Black
I don't,
Monday
I don't
and the
remember
stock
much.
market. So
Oh.
it's an interesting time.
It has been an interesting time. It's been a really interesting time to be
But I
alive.
don't like the fact that they're going ahead and vilifying people like we're in the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it wasn't necessarily my choice. Like, the divorce was a divorce I
I mean,
had
honestly,
to
like, okay,
get for legal reasons, and I
like
don't
all
want to go
people
through
I
it
know,
right
like you're
now.
like one of the biggest pacifists that I know of.
Yes, I'm a
Like
huge pacifist.
literally.
I literally sat there while well, I don't want to talk about her, but let's just say some divorces are absolutely essential and
So
are not
it's not okay.
necessarily an
So
optional
like
thing. It has to
you
happen.
being
So it happens.
single at this age,
But to be
it
single at
doesn't
this
it
age,
doesn't mean
yes,
that
I
you
am
weren't in a relationship,
47, turning
and it doesn't
46 in two
you weren't
weeks.
actually close to having a child. It just wasn't right for your life. You know what would be the worst thing? The
Hmm.
worst thing would have been if you brought a child into this world
Oh,
and you
God.
stayed in an abusive relationship,
Right. And with
and
her, it was just like,
the child was
God.
like heinously abused. That
Right.
and
He
you were
wasn't
heinously
capable
abused.
of that. I would have done
That would be the
all the
worst
work
thing,
as I
you
did
know.
all the work with everything else in the
Because like
household
think
because
if like
she
you
was not,
like
she had no sense of
that to
responsibility.
me that would have absolutely broken my heart. You know, if you would have stayed in those things, but
I
you.
mean, it wasn't abusive.
No,
My
I'm saying
last
if you would have
marriage, but
stayed in a relationship that was already
there were
not good,
things
it could
which
become
could not
abusive.
stand.
You know.
Really.
No, I'm not trying to placate that. I'm just saying like
No, I
the
know.
worst case scenario for like someone who,
But if yes, I have been in abusive relationships, and those absolutely you have to
and
get
I
out. And if
definitely have
having a
been.
child go through that would be just
I mean,
the worst.
I'm just getting out of
Oh,
like
terrible. Hate to,
heinous abuse.
hate to put a kid through that. I
Like,
mean,
I mean, just me, myself, and I. Like, I've got one fur baby. Yes, it's a dog. It's not a cat. So I'm like, okay, woohoo.
okay.
But it's like I personally am not able to have children. I've had cervical and
Mm.
uterine cancer.
Oh
So
wow.
sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I've got eggs on ice. You want to go try those out? Like, but I personally
That's
can't have
so
a child.
disrespectful of him to
But
even want.
I didn't get the
For
opportunity
me,
to
it was a
even
choice,
try.
but
Like,
well, in some ways, it's not a choice because I take psychiatric medication that would make any child have horrible disabilities. So the one time
and that's a very educated decision to.
I did want to have a child with Bobby Mendez, quote unquote Bobby Mendez, my psychiatrist. This was the same one that wanted to
Well, I
prescribe
think that's why
thorazine
you and I
pushback.
very much vibe because you're a very
Told me
educated
no.
person, though. You're
She
very
said, "Do not.
educated,
You cannot." And that's why I said,
but
"Okay."
you're incredibly educated, and that's another thing. Which is there's a statistic out there. I read this. What was it about like 3.5 months ago? And it was something about which, by the way, this is not deducing anyone that's not didn't get their masters. I'm sorry, like we're not going there. I'm just saying some people they were within this statistic. It was saying that people that have gone to college, and especially if they have gone to graduate school, that their propensity to actually have a child gets later and later, and because they have to think about also not only the
Yeah,
fiscal
you have to get through
stability.
school. You have to handle the
Like
loans.
the
You
one thing
have
that
to have
Kanye said in one of his songs was
a job.
18 years. Yeah, 18 years. It's not just 18 years.
Right.
What if your child's disabled? That's your entire
Right.
lifetime.
And it's
And
the
some
rest
people
of your
just,
life.
if you don't have we're not living in Pleasantville. If anyone's seen the movie Pleasantville, like what's
Yeah,
your
I've
takes on
seen
Pleasantville
bits of the
and what the
movie,
world
and
looks like
that's
now?
not what it looks like out there. I mean,
I mean, look
no, it's.
around. I mean, if you live in a Pleasantville, please
I live
give
in a
us your
Pleasantville,
take.
but it's just one small neighborhood
Come
and pretty out of the
to
way nowhere kind
LA.
of
I will
place.
go ahead and
But
show you around.
LA, yeah, I
It's
understand
not like I
you.
live in the ghetto of LA. I live in like
No,
the the very very I actually I should not be complaining. I live in a posh little neighborhood. Like my puppy can tell you about Madison. You want to be a puppy?
oh gosh, it's dog time. I keep hoping one of my cats will come over here and like jump up
So
to like
so
the camera,
Addie,
but
what do you think about the
oh, what a
neighborhood?
cute doggy who looks like an Ewok.
But she
Poor
kind of looks like a cat too. She looks like
thing.
baby.
She's like, hello, everybody.
Really?
I just want to say
Oh.
hi, and we don't think that President Trump, ex-President Trump, should stay ex. And we also say Vance
Wow.
is very not nice what he says about ladies. No,
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 he
no,
is
no,
not. He
no.
is so disrespectful to women, and it
I
is
am so
very nice.
perturbed by this. It is hurting my feelings.
That was so cute.
Sorry, that was needing to happen. We had to
That
have
needed to
her
happen, and that was very
do an
cute.
excerpt.
Thank you
Like
for
maybe
that.
she should have her own little part that comes in because she's amazing.
She's
Like, did you not
adorable.
see like her? She literally did the reaction.
Yeah, my cats are all like, they've all vacated. They're like, oh my god,
Madison,
dude,
you want to
we're
see?
out.
You want to see? You want to see something else? Oh, something on behalf of cat ladies.
Oh yes,
Excuse
say
me,
something on behalf of cat.
as a canine, I just know it's better in the world to have people like Andrea there to love little animals like myself
Love my
and
cat
oh,
so much.
yada 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 yada, all of the little feline parts. Because you know
Because
what,
these
we all
cats,
need
I
love.
I've only owned, well, not, pretty much, yeah, only owned rescue cats that were born to people that
You've
had
rescued
cats.
animals that people have left
Yes,
to
I
like
rescued them
essentially
all
be
to live
eaten
next
alive.
door, and the one cat that I have brought
Oh,
from LA.
wait. We just got onto a whole new subject. Eaten
Oh my
alive.
god, we did.
What
Where
about?
my cats came from.
I am President
So
Trump,
okay, back
and
to I have a tendency to ramble. I know
what
it's
do you
terrible.
think about the fact that Trump
Yes.
motherfucking thinks, mother trucking thinks? I'm sorry, I don't believe I slipped over
Oh
my
yeah, I will
my
cut it
veneers. Pardon me.
out.
So dogs and cats are being eaten by people that are coming across the border. Is it true?
Once upon a time, my great grandmother and great grandfather and
This
kids
never
came
happened.
across the border, and basically, no, 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 no,
No,
no,
like
no, that
literally,
never
it's a
happened.
bunch of malarkey.
It's a bunch of malarkey. Like when I think about things I'm afraid of, like people eating my cats or people eating
Okay,
dogs, doesn't even chart. I don't think that really happens. And I saw
I mean, like
on threads that woman made that shit up.
the
She
amount
made
of
it
people that
up
reach
and
out
then
to
was
me.
very regretful of what it caused because Trump had just jumped
Sorry.
on that and was like pushing it, and we were all like, "What the hell is he
Now,
talking
one of the
about?"
funniest things is I was reached out to by two of my friends overseas in Europe,
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
right? And they have gotten wind of everything that's going on. And he was just
Oh,
so one of the guys
so
that I've
sad.
known for, by the way, I've known him for at least 17 years, a long time, everybody. Because
Yeah.
I know that I look 14, but no, I'm older. You like how I did that little thing? Um, so, anyways, they're like, wait. Trump, are there dogs really being eaten on the streets? Because I was just in Miami last week and everything seems bloody fine.
Yeah,
And
I
they
heard
were
the law
laughing
differently, and I
so
never see
hard.
anything
Like the
going
fact
on
that
in the
the world
streets.
is
It's
laughing at
very
it.
true. The whole world has to be laughing because it's
No, they're either
preposterous. It's
laughing or they're
ridiculous. We
scared.
have
They're
like
one of
this,
two things. Because the other friend that called me
right? Or
is
scared.
actually genuinely afraid. And they're like, are
That's
you doing
understandable
anything to
too,
like,
and
they're like,
part of me is
they're like, are
genuinely.
you doing anything to like voice it? Like how can I help? And I was just like, you are more afraid than my best friend and I are afraid. So this
Oh,
is
part of me is very afraid. Believe me,
oh
I
no
just
no
keep
no
that
no.
part
He was
bottled down.
far more afraid than you and I have ever expressed. And I was like,
Oh wow,
uh,
okay.
and
I when the
yeah,
first time Trump
half
was
of the time
elected,
I
I
was
was
walking my
so
dog.
afraid. I was writing essays, I was doing things, and then I kind of
And
reached this
they're
point where
like,
I realized I have to shut up.
I've never heard this kind of trepidation and like this conviction to where he was like, literally, we can't. He's like, I've already watched my country become like halfway nationalist and becoming worse. And nationalist, by the way, if anybody wants like an AKA, I'm not trying to be like a teacher, but so my friend is this friend that I'm explaining. I'm not going to give his name because it's not my prerogative to reveal anybody's anything.
We
However,
believe
he's
you.
Italian, and they're dealing with right now an over uprise of a lot of when I say nationalists, that means they used to have a fascist country, but it's essentially the same thing that happens when we have like an uprising of people that become like alt right. It's basically become,
Right.
I guess, like the new hip term. This is what I heard from one of my friends. I might be incorrect if not everybody thinks this, but it's called alt. So
Yeah,
that
it
would
is
be like the,
alt-right is what they
but
call
no,
them,
they still them alt,
Nazis, basically.
ALT. That's
Oh,
really
just
that for
alt.
them, and
Okay.
it's just basically meaning
I
like.
mean, because there is no alt left.
So
So
it's basically meaning that if, and this probably sounds weird when you look at me, you're like, okay, this is a white chick saying this to me. Okay, I'm a ginger snap. We are 2.5% of the population, but it doesn't matter. We'll get to that another day.
yeah.
But
It's like, let me call out my folks from 93
I
and me.
never like. I'm just trying to say. So what alt is insinuating, which is very the same thing as nationalists. And Andrea, I'd like you to like give and take because I'm trying to explain this in the
oh,
nicest way
sure. Okay.
possible. So it's very, very like, so everyone can actually hear what I'm trying to say because I'm trying to not stumble over what I'm. Okay.
Yeah, you're talking
So
about the
it's
alt-right.
basically, so it's okay, like Proud Boys, people that believe that
Yes, Proud
only
Boys is
people
one
of
of
like
the,
Aryan
they're in
descent.
fact I've heard in Reno, which terrifies me.
So people that are like of Aryan descent that are
I'm glad I'm not
like
completely of
Caucasian,
Aryan descent. I'm part Italian.
but nationalism like in Italian means like you literally need to be like pure blooded of
Right, they are
that.
very much sticklers
So
about that.
and
So, like, I
Hungary has
would
already been
be
going through that. Like even like the Hungarian
tossed to
government
the wolves,
gives.
basically, or
So every
whatever the
child in Hungary, for instance,
arrangement is.
that you have, they get like thousands of dollars for every child. But if you don't have another child and if you don't marry another Hungarian, you
Interesting, those creepy racial
this
security
stuff
laws.
like I haven't. So
Jeez,
I'm like an
that's bad
informed
for the
person on
people
like
because
American politics, but
inbreeding.
my
Yeah.
international. So every child that you have, they will give
Uh-huh.
you a house, and you get more acreage.
Well,
It
that
is
is
it's
quite
some creepy,
ineffectuate,
creepy, creepy, creepy,
but
creepy
a
stuff that's been going
creepy
down.
thing that's not really good for the population. It's just, I mean, have you heard of hybrid
It-
vigor? How people are stronger and more
well, okay,
capable when
so
they come
this
to
is one of the
directions?
things that. Do you remember? Roughly it was about between like 5 years ago, roughly, when there were
Mm-hmm.
ships that were coming into Italy, and it had a lot of people coming in from Africa, and they were like throwing children and whatnot off the ships, and they were coming in, and they were trying to come up to London. They were coming from everywhere, from Nigeria, from Northern Africa, everywhere. They were trying to escape a war torn country. They were refugees.
Oh gosh, that's
And
bad.
there were thousands of them that were thrown off. Mind you, I'm not talking smack about anything. This is just historical fact. This actually happened. You can all Google it. You can see it. You don't even have to Google it. Go on any platform. You can see that it transpired. And there was some lovely people in like the south of France that housed a bunch of these children. And when I say children, that's 18 and under. And a lot of them were just trying to make their way to just find anywhere where someone would take them in. They were orphaned, put on a boat.
Yeah, it just
They
sounds like
watched their
good
friends
luck.
and people that were next to them being thrown over, and the survivors,
My God.
the travesty they went through. I did Fashion Week. It was unfortunate. I'm sorry, you guys, that I actually participated in the Fashion Week. I didn't know this was transpiring. Yes, I did walk the show. I did not know that they hosed all the people down before. I had no idea. And I do apologize that I participated in the show. I had no clue.
Right,
I had
you
arrived.
didn't know. It's
I had
okay.
arrived a week prior. I didn't know.
Right.
I had no idea. Like, do you
Oh
really think
my
I was
God,
looking at my phone?
I didn't know about this at all because I mean I never get the Italian news and so.
Well, they first came in through Italy, then they went up to France, and they ended up in London. But they hosed them down also in Paris, and I've actually never said this aloud. I don't even know if I should say it.
Exclusive.
Um,
Wow.
so after Italian Fashion Week, we have Paris Fashion Week, and so I got done doing a show in Paris after I did Milan. It's just a runway show, you guys. I'm not doing anything like incredible. I'm not like a trapeze artist. Just walking, wearing clothing. That's it.
Awesome.
And I was going outside to have a cigarette, and I witnessed in one of the main like tourist areas, which I hadn't seen outside because I got driven up to the tents and that was it, or to the building that I was in, and this is really hard for me to say, and I'm sorry if I'm gonna cry, but I witnessed like a power washer, like pound. I just heard crying, and I was like,
Oh my
and
god.
I was like,
Like,
take your
really?
headphones off. This is before we actually had ear pods yet. They still have the cord on them, and of course I'm a curious little fuck. That's been my problem. I'm very curiosity killed the cat, just not this one yet. Um,
Yeah.
and I walk down the steps, and I go and I look around the gate, and there's at least like 40 young kids getting fucking
Oh.
hosed. Pardon me, I can't say it any other way. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
They're
Maybe
getting
we should change the
fucking power
subject.
washed down.
That's so sad. Oh, that's so
Like
sad.
they had
Oh.
nothing.
Oh my god, that's so
And oh
terrible.
my gosh,
Terrible thing to
and this
do.
will never come out of my brain. I will never
Yeah, I can
forget
see how
that.
that'd be the sort of memory that would just be like a
I
negative, like stuck.
I I didn't even know what I could do because there were so many
Right, because
officers
you just
outside.
had to do your job, but like, oh my
I
god.
I was just
No.
out having a cigarette and I just heard the screaming and I was like,
Yikes.
and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop listening to Eminem or whatever the hell. No, I was listening to Eminem. That's what I was listening to.
Oh my
I
god.
remember this like
Respect
it
the
was
position,
yesterday.
because yeah,
There's no way you can erase this. This is something that's like engraved in my brain. When you
that sounds
see
like
something like that,
definitely that
you,
horrible.
I felt so helpless. There were so many officers. But by the way, I did do something that was proactive. I not only went to my agent, I went to the director of the show, and I said, "There's something absolutely heinous happening outside, and I will not walk in it until it's done." I don't think they took care of it. I don't believe they did. I don't think that they had precedence to do it, but that's all I said. I didn't walk in
Good
that
for you
show.
for trying.
I couldn't get myself to actually walk that day. I was bawling
I
all
can
bloody
understand
day.
that. Yeah, I mean, you would be completely
And
destroyed.
I flew back to America 2 days later. It took me like about 2 days to even get the strength because this
Oh
was
my
this was something that you guys, I hope no one has to go through it as a victim that has to witness it and has to be there, or someone has to oversee it that know that they can't do anything to help. Because I didn't have the ability. I don't have like a codice fiscale.
Right.
I don't
I mean,
have.
that's
I,
the reason I stopped watching as much of the news is I can't do anything, and for all of my like bed knobs and broomsticks
I mean, the
fantasies, I
amount of
really can't.
officers that were there, and they were
I
there
can't
with
do
guns
anything
on
to
them.
stop
And
the
in France, they
horrors.
don't have guns on them, like ever.
Oh,
And they had guns, and I was
really?
like,
At least
why?
they weren't shooting people. My God, that's what they
And
do
I
over
was just
here.
walking, and I was like, this. I was like, the world is bloody ending. And then I come
Yeah,
back to America, and
that's
it's like they
incredibly
covered it on
traumatic.
like CNN, like NBC, and a couple of things they would talk about, it, and I was like,
Yes, I
holy.
never heard about that at all, but I can understand how the
They
Italian
very
government
much
would want to keep
whitewashed
it
it.
quiet.
You
They
had to
wouldn't
listen to
want
more like
people.
Vice News or like independent news at this time
Yeah, more
if
of
you
an
wanted to get like
independent
the full
one to
story.
do
No,
it.
they covered it. It's in every newspaper, every bloody newspaper. Because trust me, when I was at the airport, I bought every bloody newspaper. When I'm saying that, like,
Oh,
I
what
literally had
year was this?
this many newspapers, like this thick.
Damn.
And I was just like, and I'm reading everything like, okay, please tell me someone's talking about this, please.
Right,
I just
right.
wanted to know because in France, it like,
Mm-hmm.
I
I know,
don't,
like the
by
U.S.
the way, I
government
don't, I personally myself,
leaves things like that away and not tell people and sweep it under the
and
rug.
when you're not a citizen of that country, I was there to do, which by the way, I've loved my career. I've loved what I've been able to do within modeling. I have. I don't have anything negative to say about it. However, when you arrive in different countries and you don't have citizenship and also you don't have like an attorney there for yourself, you really don't have a voice. You are just as
Yeah.
much of a refugee, and I'm not saying that I'm the equivalent of what they were going through, but I have just as many rights as the kids that were getting hosed down. So I really didn't have anything to go on beyond I tried to complain, and I couldn't even walk in the show. Like it
Oh,
fucked. I'm
yeah.
sorry
It
again for
would
saying that. It really
really
screwed me
mess
up.
you up.
It really screwed me up. And this is the first time I've ever explained that to anybody beyond my therapist.
Wow.
And that was my old therapist. And then beyond that, I just kind of tried to block it out.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Which kind of brings us to our next topic, though. Tell me if you can handle it.
Oh
We were
yeah.
going to
Woo!
talk about
Whew.
we were going to
I,
talk about
I'm
9/11
sorry,
since
that was
that just
heavy. That
happened.
was really heavy. I did not expect it to come out.
I know, honey. Oh my god. So tell me if you want to change the topic
Oh
to
no,
something
well the
like
one thing, okay,
lighthearted
so by
instead.
the way, what if that happens in America? What if it's already happening?
It already has. I mean, there was that period of time. I was following the news really closely because these were Mexican children that had come up from like South American countries and whatnot, and were being put in cages,
Oh.
and they were in these horrific living
Oh,
conditions, and
okay.
then they were farmed out to like different
Wait,
weird sort
what
of
about
places where they
this?
pumped them full of antipsychotics, and then eventually you stopped hearing about them. And I'm like,
What
this is
about
bad.
this? So
This
when
is bad.
Trump
This is
went
very
against
scary.
Kamala and said
That
that
really
there
bothered me.
were people that came from Mexico, Central America,
Yeah, Central America, all these places
and
where it's
they're
really
eating
violent, and they're looking
dogs
for their
and
blood.
cats,
Same as my
and that they need to be ripped away and just sent back. Okay, this is one
Uh,
thing that
well, I will say people eat different meats.
do you really
Goat.
actually
I
think that they
prefer
were stealing
goat. I
people's
don't.
pets? No.
I don't believe that for a
When you
second. I don't
defame
believe that for a
someone,
second. No one is stealing my pets. No one is
okay,
stealing anyone's
so we
pets.
can actually explain this. I think that
That
you
is
would be
just
really, really great at
racist
explaining this.
propaganda, and that is because
Yeah,
Trump
okay, so
is.
propaganda does this, ladies and gentlemen. Andrea is going to be able to greatly give you the in depth, but basically, it's giving a narrative to a person prior to knowing anything about them. Like, let's say, okay, Alicia's a
The
redhead.
dehumanization narrative.
Okay, so
So
let's say, okay, so if I tell you, or if you tell me, okay, you've got, like, if you say you're Mexican, right, or you're
right,
Hispanic,
partially yes,
or like you've got a portion
a
of
good
you is,
quarter.
I'd be like, okay.
Mm.
I'd be like, oh, so she must only eat things from like Taco Bell. That that's a
Taco
stupid
Bell is
ass
so like I
narrative.
will not
But
touch it.
that is like
I get
how
my Mexican food from like legit
that's like a
places that
Trumpism, you know? Like
like
he, but think about it. Think about it.
I had to find here in
But no,
Here in
think about it.
Nevada.
How he's
Can't get
talking about
Mexican
people that
food from
come from
California.
from over
That
the border.
is
They're
just
eating
like
somebody's cats and dogs.
no. We don't eat cats and dogs, and we don't eat
Well, okay,
tacos.
so explain about
There's
the
like
narrative of.
a whole middle ground and a lot of really delicious meats that involve things you can
Okay,
do
no.
pork
But I would like you to explain
and chicken and
if you can actually like
beef
give
and
detail too, because you're
details. Okay, because if you go
okay.
to
So
like a
okay, when
really
you give a
authentic
false
place, they will
narrative,
give you options. Like tripe is one of the options, and various parts of the animal, the beef
no,
beef or
don't talk
goat.
about the don't talk about the meat.
Oh no,
We're
don't talk
talking
about meat.
about right
Okay,
now the false narrative that they're saying
false narrative.
that
Yes, he
people
is
that are
trying to push
coming
this
from.
ridiculous false narrative. It's absolutely appalling, and it just makes me. It makes me angry. It makes me sad. It makes me feel like, what is going on? How can this? Alicia saw the second debate. I didn't. I saw the first debate, and I was just laughing at how Kamala was just wiping the floor with that disgusting orange monster. And she was so great and so funny and so perfect, just spot on. And
She
I
was
was,
eloquent.
it was
She
beautiful.
actually. If okay, I have a thing, and it's with all people. This is not even dealing with politicians. If you can't look me in the eye, wait, where's my camera? Where's my?
There's your
It
camera.
won't let me.
Wait, I think I have to move my
I
camera
don't even
over
know how
here.
to get to it.
There we go. Now
If
I can
you
see
can't
you
make
better.
eye
Okay,
contact with
here.
me when you're
Yeah.
talking to me, you know
Mm-hmm.
that is a sign of disrespect in almost every culture. America doesn't really have a distinct quote unquote culture because we're a mix of everybody. So we can't say we
Yeah,
do.
America has regional cultures that are really
But
different.
well, I'm just not trying to put anyone down. Like
Right.
I'm trying to be cautious with my words.
Right.
But by the way, a sign of respect is if you look, it's manners, it's etiquette. If you look someone in the eyes when they're addressing you and you actually listen to what they are saying, not are just creating what your rebuttal is going to be. That actually
That's
shows a
true.
sign of
Trump definitely in those debates, he was just looking down,
he
and
could not.
he wasn't meeting
Did he
Kamala's
actually make
eyes
contact
or
to the
the
camera?
audience's eyes. I didn't
And then
see
he's like,
anything.
"Everybody
I didn't see
knows.
his eyes at all.
Everybody knows that." By the
I was
way,
like, what color are they? I don't even care.
and BT Dubs. Everybody doesn't know this shit. Like, literally. The
No,
stuff that
it's
he's
like
talking
we know
about.
that shit isn't true. Okay,
And
my
I
cats
do
are
need to be
happy
talking
and
about
healthy.
Senate Representative from Minnesota,
It's ridiculous. Oh, tell us about him. Yeah, you were
White.
started to tell me, and I was very curious.
Mr. White, Representative White. So he was a former NBA basketball player, and he's now your new Senate representative. If you live in Minnesota, and I,
For like
I,
a million
he was
reasons, but
introduced to
yes.
me by John Oliver, but I had already read about him prior to that. So funny thing is, he does not believe that there's any footage that 9/11 ever happened, but he's your Senate representative.
Oh
Wait,
my!
so everybody. Yeah, do you guys have footage that 9/11 ever happened?
I
I
distinctly remember watching the towers go down. I wasn't in New York. I was in
my
San
best friend
Francisco, but
and
I
her
showed up to
family
work.
was there, and
Oh my
she
god!
even had a sweatshirt that had dust on it. And also
Oh
my cousin, my personal
yeah, a
like,
lot of my friends
straight
had moved to
blood
New York
cousin,
beforehand were there, and they were
Sarah,
like, "It was
what
terrible."
like
Get to
she couldn't
walk
even go
home,
back to
subway.
work for 10 years because she had an apartment about 17 blocks away. She
Oh
was
my
on the
god!
rooftop and she got to hear the bodies as they screamed crashing
Oh,
down, and that fucked her
oh,
up.
God.
Sorry, but by the way,
That would
this
totally
is
fuck
a
you up.
deep,
Yes,
deep,
I
deep
mean,
episode. I'm sorry
deep,
because you know what?
seriously, PTSD.
The
Well,
election is coming up. Not
the
only
election's coming up, and this is
really,
serious stuff.
really
I'm gonna
negative
talk
things
about it.
are happening right now because they're
Right,
attacking people that don't have a voice. And there's,
right.
I'm sorry, Democrats. It's not just Democrats. You can be independent. You can be a Republican. I don't care what you are. It doesn't really matter. You can just be a human. That's all you need to be is human. Well, you can also be canine. You can be feline. I mean,
I
but,
mean, if my
you
cats could
guys,
vote, we'd have some more Democratic voters
no,
in
you
here.
know,
But you
still have
know,
feelings.
they can't.
Yeah, sorry, you can't check anything on the ballot, but at the same time,
No,
it's like,
I can't claim
I'm not
membership
just
in any
encouraging everyone to go
congregation
out
to do
there
that.
and vote, but it's like, just maybe take a second of your lives to think about the fact that, like, things are not going right. Yeah, the economy has been,
No.
inflation has been horrible, but you guys have to also know that there is a cyclical cycle to the economic.
Right, I heard that
We've
the
tried
stock
to get the
market's just
balance also after the whole
like the
COVID
lesson already,
bailout. There was no way that we were
along
going
with
to be
interest rates.
able, there was no possible way that America, and by the way, I have my master's in international business, so I actually know what I'm talking about. I'm not an idiot when I'm saying this. Like, I actually,
You
I do
sound
have
like you
some
know.
sense. If you want to ask me questions, go ahead, ask me.
Okay, so why did the stock market suddenly go up when they were talking about changing the interest rates? Like, I didn't understand that. I was like, finance, okay, groovy. Don't really
Okay,
get it.
so I highly recommend that you watch the China Hustle. So we allowed the Chinese stock market to come on. That's hence why we went woo, because they put
Oh, is
billions
it
and billions of dollars into our stock market, and
interesting?
these
So it's
were
an
all shell
international
companies that were
exchange.
actually not
Okay.
existing. And we're still trying to work out this whole syndicate, but they basically have bailed us out over pretty much everything. So the one thing that Trump
I
did
have my
to
own
make,
surprise that the U.S. fucks up all the time.
I mean, the United States, the one thing is this, is it's Trump is not the enemy. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever.
Oh, I think he's absolutely
No,
the
no, no, no,
enemy.
no,
I
no,
think
no,
he's
no, 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 no.
absolutely.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Just move
There's
on.
puppeteers beyond him. He never knew about politics.
That's true. There is more evil than Donald Trump, but as far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump is the
No, but
evil
no,
that
he
is
well,
most
what he
powerful,
represents. If you're talking about an entity,
that can do the
we'll get
most.
to that later. I'm trying to get to my point though.
Okay, okay.
So, if you look at the macro and microeconomics, look at Trump as just being basically your logo, right? He basically is just there to regulate everything to make it seem like it's fine when everything is not fine. Go ahead, watch the China Hustle, watch the Panama Papers. Two movies that are very essential. Ask Forbes, just go ahead and ask Forbes. That's it. Those are the two movies that you need to watch in the last 2 decades. That's it. It will
I haven't
explain
seen either
everything to
one,
you
so I'll have to
piece
check
by
these
piece
out.
by piece
But
by
yeah.
piece. It's nothing is a conspiracy theory. It's all just like literally black and white. I can give it to you like piece by piece by piece, but this will be an entire like 7 hour.
Yeah, we're at 30. We're at the halfway mark, so we probably should move
So
on to our
anyways,
next
I
topic.
wrapped that up.
Or back to
So when I came back to the whole, so Trump is not who I am mad, like Donald Trump himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I've met him before, twice. Yes. How did you meet him? Did you work with Epstein?
Oh, wait, you've met him? Oh my god.
Yeah, they hired me.
Was he always
work
such
on
a just ridiculous
he was
excuse
just a
for
germaphobe. He was
he's a germaphobe?
germaphobe.
That's funny because he's so.
He had an assistant behind him with literally Purell to like pump into his hand.
Maybe in his younger days, I must have been.
Well, this was, by the way, this was not last year. This was quite a few years ago.
Yeah, not last week. This was like a long time ago, I guess.
Well, because I did 2 Miss America pageants, he would hire a bunch of models.
Oh, I see how then.
It was
did he sneak into the dressing room and do his...
The allergies are so bad here. We've had so many fires.
Oh,
it's
honey,
been so horrible. Like everybody has been
Yeah.
sick. Like if you even like leave your window open for a second, California, we are going through it. If you're in Cali, everyone, just please make sure you take care of your health. Go and make sure that you get a physician. If you think you don't have health insurance, you can get it immediately with Medi-Cal. And you can always call 211 if you're in any kind of an emotional distress. You have to always know that. You can always call 211. And you can call 811 as well if you're feeling suicidal at any time. I just want you guys to know that. That's 811 for suicide, 211 if you have any emotional and or need help getting things done. Sorry for that PSA. It just needed to happen.
Okay, PSAs are all
I mean, I just think that it's very important.
We used to have to put them on the radio when we had a radio show. But
like when her and I met, when Andrea and I met, it was really, really cute. Because she was such a proper, lovely lady. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, how is she going to navigate this ugly little world? And I was like, I got to take her under my wing. And I tried to introduce her. Like, what did I do? I
remember we went to a lot of AA meetings. They were fine. It was like
everyone and everything.
So I got sober, and it pretty much worked. I mean, I'm not a big fan of AA, but that's
I'm not. No, I tried to introduce
that I'm not supposed to talk about.
No, but like not even just that. But I tried to introduce you to like any.
But you took me to like a lot of good AA meetings, like not ones where
meetings that we went to. We went for like coffee and everything like that.
Which I went to those meetings too.
Well, the reason why I was, I don't know. I looked to you like you were an older sister, but in the same way, I was like, she needs someone to be there for her.
I needed some guidance as
and
to
I had a immediate love for you. And the thing is, I don't want our society to be inept from that because we become so polarized that we don't see the light in other people. When you and I met, it was such by the way, I was drooling on myself eating a licorice whip.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that was me.
We told this story last episode. I think it was very funny. It had to come out. It was going to come out eventually. Just these things do.
I mean, it would be so funny.
And that's not that scandalous. I mean, as far as I'm
concerned. I started sketching a whole cartoon.
Oh my God.
You do for other people.
Cartoon.
No, it came from me with the licorice whip, and it was you becoming this amazing person sharing about this. I would never think to talk about my problems in life, but you know what I'm really afraid about is this. If we lose all of our rights, we've already lost.
Oh my God!
We've lost Roe v. Wade.
We've lost Roe v. Wade. They're going for IVF, which even though it's not my problem, it's other people's problem, and they deserve the right to do what they want with their womb and have their kids. People want
what happens in your bedroom and what happens in your household.
Have your kids, have your IVF. I'm not against that at all.
I believe there's only 3 things. Tell me if there might be more. Whatever happens in your bedroom is your business. That's my prerogative. But unless it involves children, of course, bestiality, but we'll not even make that one. We're okay, so animals in any kind of way, but we're not going to put that. But by the way, that does happen. Non-consenting.
That's crucial. Yeah.
And elderly.
Right. You don't want to abuse anyone. You want to be. I always see this post on Threads, and I'm very for enthusiastic, sober consent. It's what you need.
And by the way, some people think that silence is consent.
I think that's
Silence
better.
is not
Silence
consent.
is not necessarily consent. I can think of sometimes.
But no,
Yeah.
I think you should actually talk about that a bit more. Silence is not consent.
Okay, silence is not consent. I can think of some times where I was too scared to speak up that I didn't want to have sex, or I said something like, at least use a condom, which they took to mean consent, but to me just meant I don't want to also end up pregnant as well as getting raped.
Oh, honey, you are still. I should have not asked you that. I feel like I just.
It's okay. I mean,
I know.
it
I
would
feel
have
like I just
many years
re-victimized you.
ago,
See, I
but that
tell you
was.
all. I can tell you all. This girl has been through Iraq and back, which that's just an Alicia-ism, but she's literally a testament to what it is to be a strong mother trucking woman. And she supports Kamala. I support Kamala.
Absolutely. I'm so
And
voting for her. This
the
is
main
that
reason why
mail-in
we
ballot
do. It's not because we're like.
drops in my mailbox.
It's not because we're like uber Democrats. It's not. That's not it.
Oh, I'm an Uber Democrat,
No,
but
no.
but I also
No,
like just
let me get.
understand it's like between
I
like
have like literally one slogan. You just let me finish it. It's
yes,
because
finish your rant, finish it.
it's because we could be facing an Armageddon,
Yeah,
like
really, an
straight up, like
Armageddon
an
for
actual
people
like
like me, cat
humanitarian
ladies who
Armageddon.
are not totally white, who like love other women and love our cats and do not have kids. And I mean, they could be just trying to sweep us. Not just, I mean, I don't mind going quiet. I did that during Trump's era. The first time I didn't like it, but I did it. I dyed my hair blonde and everything just so I could blend in, and the whole thing made me very angry. But like, I am afraid of people coming to my door, pounding on it, and hauling me away to like death.
And this is like a legit thing that
I
she's
This is a
afraid of
legit
because
fear that I
this shit
fear for the
happens.
entirety of Trump's campaign, and that if he wins again, I mean, it's just going to be like right back there, and I probably will just disappear from social media and like, yeah. Oh, hon, are you okay? I know it is
Like
dire
the
when we think
amendment
of Trump.
2025 is like no joke.
That's why I am so diehard Democrat at this point. I mean, I wouldn't.
And it's not about the fact that we're talking about you. Everybody needs to be affiliated with a certain party, but you have to understand where the line is drawn. Like,
Right, you
are
have to
we
make
going
a
to lose all
rational
of our
choice.
rights as human beings unless you are not a strong white person that believes in absolute
Or a white men,
freaking
white man
like
more
conspiracy
specifically.
theories?
They're very into taking away women's rights. Pretty much, there are people who think they should take away women's right to vote. I have interacted with them on social
Oh,
media, and I
and
am like, you are a very scary
I
gal.
read all of the 981 pages.
Oh my god, yes, she read it. She sent it to me, and I read the first chapter, and I was like, I cannot
I
stomach
read the
1,000 pages.
whole bloody thing, and
God,
it
I will
is
be like,
scary, scary. When I say
yeah.
Armageddon, I am not bloody kidding.
It sounds like Armageddon. It sounds like,
And
oh
that
my god.
I'll share that with
I
you guys
can't wrap my
on their
mind around
podcast
what
we
I'll
have. I
do
don't
if
know if
he
it's going to be the next
wins.
one or the one after, but like literally, if you guys want to know a bit more about it, I will go ahead and show you page by page what I have highlighted because it is. I printed it all out because it scared
Oh.
the bloody pants off my buttocks. Like
That would
it
make a
just.
good episode of another episode of this podcast.
I mean,
Definitely.
because okay, you
About
sitting there in
like breaking
fear
it
that someone's
down.
going
I'd
to
be
come at your
breaking.
door. Do you know how many people they come at their door like ice just comes and just wipes them out?
I know ICE was coming to people's doors. I mean, not mine because I was born in LA,
Well,
but like,
no. Hold up. There is over 3,000 Americans born in America.
mm-hmm.
Like literally born in America. Parents are American. However,
right.
they
That's right. Like,
They look
and my
and or
mother was
have
born
been
in Reno. Yeah.
vocal about their or look like a certain descent. So they're sending them just all
Oh
out.
my god! So ICE could come to my door, and I would be like, "Wait a
Yeah,
minute,
straight up.
what's a ravioli?" Like seriously.
Grab a fucking wig.
Yeah, I just might put this
No,
bloody.
no,
But
you're
now that it's
you'll
white,
be fine.
I
You
think
will
it's
be
okay.
fine
I
because
just
you know
like an
what?
old woman.
If someone comes for you, I literally
If someone comes for me, I already know what to do. They briefed
you're
us
like
on what
I will be calling my father and I will
I
be
will be
calling
calling my
Alicia
attorney
and things
right
will be
post
okay.
haste, and he will fix it. And most certainly, good God.
No, but it's absolutely bizarre. It hasn't happened only in California what was it,
I
30?
heard about that
In
happening.
California, it's
They
happened.
tell
No,
you like you don't
wait.
have to open the door.
137 times.
Don't open the door.
137 times this year.
Oh my god, that is horrifying.
That's
That is
that's a
absolutely
staggering
horrifying.
number.
Yeah, so this is not so paranoid that I've been so afraid of that
Oh
because
no
I've had people tell me I'm paranoid and nothing like that would ever
That's when
happen here, and I'm
that's
like,
when I was crying.
that the thing is though, I'm not you. You maybe nothing like that would happen to you, the person who said this to me, but
Well,
a
because
lot of
people
things
look at
happen.
me and they're like, you know how horrible it's been. I walk down the street and people scream and say I'm an Aryan and like I'm a part of Hitler's society. I'm like,
Oh, LA has
and
too.
I'm like, and by the way, everyone, I've got Ashkenazi in me. Like I could really give a fuck. I don't even have one friend that's like pure white. Like I don't have any friends like that. I don't know people like that. I don't involve them in my society because you know what?
Right.
I hate to quote Michelle Obama, but I'm going when they go low.
Why? Michelle was awesome.
I mean, when they go low, I go high. I just don't take myself down into the gutter like that. I just don't go there. That's not somewhere I want to
I
be
mean,
at.
a lot of people have really gone off the deep end in terms of the alt right and the. I mean,
I mean,
dude,
I
you
didn't
Nazis,
feel
you've gone too
they've gone away.
far.
By the
That
way,
is terrible.
they're actually they're not
Horrifying.
even allotted to call themselves neo Nazis now anymore. This is what I've heard.
Oh, really? Because my
Oh, yeah, no, because
a dear friend just published
so
a
my
book on
manager
neo-Nazis and Satanism
had me a
and
part of
so
this. Like, she brought in
understood it.
three. I had a lunch, by the way, you guys. By the way, I had a great
Oh,
business lunch yesterday. That's it.
business
Thumbs up that
lunch.
one. But the lunch that I had the day before, this one was more particular. This is my manager, and I got to hear from voices that are far younger than me, and of all different. It doesn't matter if you're LGBTQ. It doesn't matter what color you are. It was a whole smorgasbord, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of educating me on what's going on in society.
Must have been.
And this is a half an hour that actually kind of blew my mind. I wish I could have gotten more of it. I wish I could have recorded it, but I couldn't have. However, I did not realize how acutely educated you guys are in different sects that are not so much politically bound. And I want you guys to be more politically bound. You guys have the aptitude with your brains to do more than we can because we're older. We weren't born with iPads. Like,
right. I was born. I had to play with blocks like Legos and rubber bands and sticks. And I'm serious.
I'm not going to say I walked 40 miles in the snow. I'm not going to say that. That was not my childhood. However, they have a different way. They know about coding, all this kind of stuff. Like,
right, but everything has changed so much.
Like literally in like 2 days, you will know everything about politics that you want to know. Maybe 3 days, probably 3 days.
I haven't
give or take. Like you can actually choose. Like, okay, so the one thing that is misconstrued when they look at Democrats, this is what makes a lot of people afraid. My father raised me to be fiscally conservative and socially liberal, so that would make me a moderate. Correct? How do you vote as a moderate? Basically, you're giving an
that kind of. I see moderate on like I used to be on those dating apps or whatever, and I would see moderate as like I don't know, but I'm kind of afraid you're a Trump supporter, so I'm just going to swipe.
Well, that's
left. And so
and you know what? That's interesting that you say that. No wonder so many people think that I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think
that is
maybe
funny
just cut the fiscally conservative out. That's sort of understood. That's understood. That's understood in democracy. Like people don't actually need to say it anymore. It's just sort of understood that like, yeah, we only have so much money in the treasury, and we want to use it for.
Okay, so so this is the way.
Not to like revamp.
Okay, so my dad, by the way, thought OG meant old Gary. My dad's name was Gary.
Oh,
so I'm just going to tell you a little bit of OG's little philosophies on life. So he was like, you need to know where your money is going to. You have to make sure it's secured because that is for you and your loved ones. Right? Okay. And then his philosophy on social cues. What happens in someone's bedroom is their own business. It's not yours. You have to learn how to accept everyone and love everyone as they are. Which I always have. I never had an issue with that. I loved everybody. That
I don't love everybody, but that's okay.
no, but
Live in a world
I
with.
was open for, like, are you kidding me? We had every kind of, like, okay, have you ever seen me once in your life look at somebody for the way that their like ethnic state was?
No, I mean that's not why I would dislike someone. I would dislike someone because of the way they had treated me or the
But you know
legislation.
what? You know what's different is like trying to
Then
understand this.
that's what I
The
wouldn't
whole
want.
fucking I'm sorry I'm saying this because it's a really poignant thing. I have been bombarded with these not even fully Caucasian men or white men, whatever you want to call them. And it's mainly men that will literally try to either tear me down and or think that, by the way, if you're trying to come for me, FYI, I'm not. Do you think that I would really fall for a religion and or a cult and or anything that had to deal with like going against everything that's against me? Like all of my friends
After
are
being through in
all
and out of
races, all
AA, I think
faces. I
you'll
don't
fall
care
for it.
what you guys are.
I really hope so.
I'm a very accepting human being, and that's what makes my life so colorful and beautiful. And they'd be like, they just look like, oh wait, red hair, green eyes. I'm like, yes, I look like an ogre leprechaun. What do you want from that? Like,
Yes,
like literally, like I can make fun of
statuesque
myself. I'm at that
leprechaun.
age, And they would say, I want to have Aryan babies with you. That
Dude,
I've had that guy once.
that is such a like the ovaries like pull up inside my
people
body
this
and
year.
like
Wait, four people this year. Four people. Four people this year have said it to me.
Oh my god! Did you like? I mean, I know you're not the slapping type, but were you just like?
It knocks the wind out of you.
Rather astonished. I mean, I suppose it's the nicest
Well,
way to
actually,
put it.
one time I did faint.
You did faint. That's an appropriate reaction to that sort of statement. That's a really bizarre statement.
Because it really,
that's that guy is basically saying he's a Nazi and he wants to propagate it with.
I mean, I'm not. I don't support anything that has to do with that kind of narrative.
Be positively appalled.
And mind you, I have uncles that. One uncle in particular. I can give a story really quick. Sorry. I've cried and this has been a very emotional day.
This has been a very emotional
This is our most emotional episode. We're not going to do this again this emotional, you guys. I promise.
Our next episode will be very cut and dried. And
no, we're going to do something funny. We'll do something funny.
Something funny, yeah. Let's be funny.
Yeah, well, we're going to be funny the next one. But, okay.
So, just so you know, we only have 7 more minutes.
Okay, so right, my uncle was able to escape going to Auschwitz. He was actually hidden away in a tunnel underneath Poland for 2.5 years. And then he was able to make it to New York because this Swedish family was so kind to come and get him and fly him to New York. So that's why I'm here today. Hi all.
Oh my god. Well, thank you for sharing that, Alicia. That was a really sad and beautiful story, and thank you for giving so much of yourself emotionally for this session. I think we're going to close now.
Oh my gosh!
Thank you for listening to this session of Voice of Generation.
By the way, we will never do this hard again.
We're not going to go this hard next time. Okay.